exposed the country to what may be its worst experience from religious extremism. The investigations following the reports of citizens starving themselves to death inside the Shakahola forest within Langobaya in Malindi sub-county led to the discovery of at least 429 bodies that had been buried in shallow graves. In the exercise of their religious beliefs and practices, the accused persons collectively agreed to engage in starvation or fasting, among other extreme practices, leading to the loss of over 429 lives in a manner that depicted direct and indirect suicide pacts between them aimed at such loss of lives. Led by the first accused person, the accused persons, under the banner of their Good News International Church and relying on the false religious teachings led by the first accused person, and on the basis of the unwritten common agreement, which is the suicide pact, between themselves and the deceased victims and others, to have everyone in the church die from fasting or starvation. Their sole objective was the death of all of them, and their acts of starvation or fasting were done with the settled intention of dying in pursuance of the pact and pursuant to an extreme belief system. The prosecution shall lead evidence showing how, in pursuit of the suicide pact, the accused persons had planned to have everyone in the church die from starvation or fasting, starting from children to their mothers and finally their fathers, in a false belief or religious victory thereafter. As a result, 238 adults and over 191 innocent children whose innocence had been taken advantage of had been confirmed dead from these extreme religious beliefs of the accused persons at the time of drafting the instant charges. The 429 victims of the pact with the accused persons, led by the first accused, are not just numbers. The case before you, Your Honor, is not just for a trial, but for a reckoning. The case before you is not about a single crime, but a web of atrocities woven by the accused persons, the first accused person in particular. This case is about the exploitation of faith, the erosion of humanity, and the chilling cost of blind devotion. Towards proving its case against the accused persons, the prosecution has lined up a total of about 90 witnesses, both children and adults, some of whom are protected. The evidence shall be both direct and circumstantial, with a number of the witnesses giving a first-hand account of the events that took place within Shakahola Forest between the years 2020 and 2023. The prosecution is certain that at the close of its case, this honorable court shall have a clear view of the existence of the suicide pact and the religious pursuance thereof, and leading to culpability of each of the accused persons as charged, and will implore upon this honorable court to find, based on the entirety of the evidence presented, that each of the accused persons had arrived at the common intention to die, leading to the death of each of the victims. That will be all, Your Honor.
That are being propelled by the prosecution on the issue of suicide pact are far-fetched and cannot be justified, Your Honor. Your Honor, the matter that is before you is purely on the issue of a scapegoat on the question of bodies allegedly found at a particular area within the vicinity of a particular region. And the same shall be attributed. It will be a concerted effort to attribute the same to the accused persons before you. And there will be an attempt to bring a nexus to the issue of the faith that they exercised. So, Your Honor, even as the case progresses, we invite the Honorable Court to keep that at its back pocket, that the matter before you is a question of Article 32, read all the way to Article 35 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. It's the freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, and has nothing to do with the charges as drawn before you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, we invite the Honorable Court to keenly put a dotted line in between every piece of evidence that shall be issued by the prosecution and our rebuttal to the same as the defense. And our rebuttal will be the same, that in their exercise of their freedom of religion, assembly, and expression, there was no suicide pact, there was no suicide, and there was no death attributable to religion. That would be all, Your Honor. Not about on the issue of blind faith. And this matter shall come back to the issue of Article 32 of the Constitution on the freedom of religion and assembly. So, Your Honor, even as the Honorable Court listens to the prosecution witnesses, we invite the Honorable Court to keep at its back pocket on the issue that there are currently no regulations on how faith should be exercised.